Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's BBQ Joints, and I am super excited to bring you my interview with Brandon Simpson from Jazzy B's Diner in Lee Summit, Missouri. This one is just great. Brandon, first off, is just one of the coolest guys to talk to. I think I had a smile on my face almost the entire interview, and his laugh is infectious. You're going to love it, and the way he describes food and his business model and what he's done in his life, it's engaging and interesting, and I think you're really going to get a chance to really get to know Brandon and then know his restaurant. And he has kind of two personas. He has Jazzy, which is Superman. He's in the back. He's a cook. He makes all the food. And then you have Brandon, who is Clark Kent, and he's front of the house, and he's the person who most of the time is in this interview. But then there's Jazzy, who comes in during the food portion. If you're looking into opening a restaurant either in Kansas City or anywhere else in the United States, he gives great business advice, tips, tricks, things that he uses, how he came up with his location, how he uses SEO with Google. It's super smart, very clever, and you're gonna. There's so much. I think this interview is for everyone. There's so many different things. We get his background in sales, what he went to school for, which is food based, how he got his nickname, opening a food truck in Kansas City, how he still has that food truck, about his restaurant, about the future of his restaurant. He's open Tuesday through Sunday. His motto is "Come break bread with our family." I don't even want to talk too much because I want to get right into it. Thank you, Brandon, for taking the time. Go visit Jazzy B's Diner. You're going to love it. You're going to probably want to go a number of times when you're visiting Kansas City. And I am super excited to have Treaty Oak Distilling out of Dripping Springs on board as the adult beverage partner for the show. Here's a bottle of the Red-Handed Rye. Cool bottle just to begin with. Treaty Oak was founded in 2006 by Daniel Barnes, and the name Treaty Oak comes from a 500-year-old tree in Austin, which again is very cool. They moved all their operation to the current location in 2006, which is a 28-acre property in Dripping Springs. It's open to the public for food, beverages. They have a restaurant, a live fire restaurant called Alice's. They have live music often. They have a cocktail lab. It would be really cool to visit, and when you do visit, you can come and try 3 of their whiskeys. They have the Ghost Hill Texas Bourbon, they have the Red-Handed Bourbon, and they have the Red-Handed Rye, which is the one that I showed you if you're watching on YouTube. The goal at Treaty Oak is to balance innovation with heritage. You can see all things Treaty Oak Distilling at treatyoak.com or on their social media, which is at Treaty Oak, or better yet, order it. Order it at your local bar or store. They'll probably have it, and if they don't, they'll want to order it. And above all, remember to drink responsibly. And surprisingly enough, I have 2 sponsors for the Kevin's BBQ Joints podcast and YouTube show. The second one is AJ's Custom Cookers out of Saginaw, Texas. That's ajscustomcookers.com. I've gotten to know AJ Ramirez over the last year, and I couldn't be more proud of his progress professionally, but more importantly, I'm honored to call him a friend. Stand-up guy, super passionate about his craft, super passionate about barbecue. Check out his Instagram or Facebook, and you can see all the live fire events and things that he's doing right now. He's a hardworking family man. He's been in the business, welding business, for 27 years, and AJ's Custom Cookers has been around for 11 years. Specializes in custom TIG, Healy arc work, fancy metals, stainless, copper, aluminum, brass. But he could do pretty much anything. His name has custom in it because he does custom everything. But check out his website. Tons and tons of options. But he could do any kind of cooker you want. There's a lot of options out there when it comes to people making cookers. But give him a call, give him a text, give him a DM. He'll give you a quote I think that you'll be pretty astounded by. His lead time is about 12 months right now. He's done work with Smokeaholics, Joe Zavala, Zavala's Barbecue, Panther City, Hurtado. He's got some cool stuff coming up with a number of people that I've interviewed. And lastly, I have a cooker on order with him. So not only is he a sponsor, but I trust him to build me something that'll be beautiful. Again, it's ajscustomcookers.com. Check them out. And lastly, if you're digging these, please subscribe. That way you don't miss out. I do about 2 or 3 of these per week. There's a YouTube channel at youtube.com/Kevin's BBQ Joints if you're just listening to this on the podcast. I have a website at kevinsbbqjoints.com that is going to relaunch. It's up there right now, and I have weekly stuff on it, but I have something huge coming up, so I'm excited about it. You'll be able to check it out at kevinsbbqjoints.com, but also on all my social media at Kevin's BBQ Joints. You'll get updates on that stuff. So if you're following me on social media, you'll know about my new website and all my new stuff that's coming out. But in the end, I so appreciate you listening. I appreciate the feedback. It's going to be an exciting year. I hope you have a great year too. Hope you have a great week. Enjoy. Good morning, Brandon. How you doing?
Good morning, man. How you doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no,
Really.
we've been off and
Miss
on trying to do this for a year, probably, maybe more.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm tenacious, and also too, I loved. This is a quick aside. Your message to Ryan, that was such like they're all really good messages and they're all heartfelt. But I loved yours, and it really moved me. And your connection. I'd like to talk later on about your connection to Ryan.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Well, I'll just start out.
Yeah.
I'm Brandon, Brandon Simpson, man, with Jazzy Bees. I would say barbecue, but we're more of a barbecue fusion. We're more of what I've tried to do is connect different ethnic backgrounds of cooking, and then being that we're from Kansas City, barbecue. I like to say barbecue mecca, capital, whatever you want to call it. Tie all that smoked meats into different avenues. So, about 10 years ago, I started out with a food truck, and my background was sales.
What type of sales?
Well, I was in construction sales, and before I opened up the truck, I was in piano sales. But I had always been cooking ever since I was small.
In Kansas City or outside of Kansas City?
As far as the cooking,
As far as growing up, did you grow up in Kansas City or?
oh yeah. So I was born in Iowa.
Huh.
So I'm Iowegian. Born and raised in Waterloo, Iowa, till probably like I was 12.
Okay.
Then I've been in Kansas City ever since. You know what I mean? So that Kansas City background is, I grabbed onto it. I still have family up in Iowa. We still go up there every so often, but I'm a Kansas City guy. I'm a Missouri guy.
Were you cooking in high school, were you as you grew up, or was that later on?
Just around the house. I was a latchkey kid, man. So,
Gotcha.
my mom was gone most of the time working and whatnot. And so I was left to take care of chores, and cooking was one of them. The biggest memory that I remember was that when I was probably about 6, my grandmother, I cooked a cherry pie with her. And so that cherry pie, it was as basic could be, but I made it with my grandmother, and then everybody, goo God off of it. And they're like, yo, this is the best cherry pie. And I didn't know, I was 6. So, but that gave me the bug, you know what I mean?
Isn't that
Just
funny how little
food
things
can
like
do.
that stick in you and propel you in a certain direction?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, and what food can do to people. And then you start watching. We used to have family reunions all the time, and the main focal point was food. That's what brought everybody. What you bring in, and the different types of food that came. I have a very broad family, so like you would get bits and pieces of different background, and that was great. And then sports helped me travel a lot, and when you travel, you get to see, just in the United States, the different pockets of how people cook food. I mean, everybody has a staple. I mean, you have chicken, you have beef, you have fish, you have pig. Everybody cooks the same protein.
The same protein, but that's true. It's all really unique. I don't think it conceptualized it that way, but yeah, it's all different styles, and if you don't travel around, if you stay in your little pocket, you never see it.
Never see it. So that's when the wheels started really turning. You know what I'm saying? And so throughout the years and growing up, I mean, I didn't think I'd end up open a restaurant. I guess when I was, I don't know, maybe 15, I probably told some people that. That's what they tell me. And
You must have said something.
and so, but it wasn't in the forefront of my brain. It was just, let's just go. I was basketball, I was football. Went to school, K-State, and finished up at Northwest Missouri State. Go Bearcats! You see it in the
That's what I was
background.
going to say.
But I went to school for food and restaurant management. That was that.
Okay.
At that point in time, I knew what I wanted to do.
But you went into different types of sales, knowing maybe in the background that maybe you might want to open a food truck or a restaurant?
No.
Wow.
I mean, I enjoyed talking to people, and I was good at it. I learned that craft coming out. I managed a few corporate restaurants and all that stuff as soon as I got out of school.
Gotcha.
That corporate scene was not me. I'm I'm not a talker, but I enjoy people. You know what I mean?
But
And
that
so,
corporate lifestyle is a specific type of lifestyle, and you have to
yeah,
have that certain connection, and you have to be careful what you talk. Yeah, it's definitely a
it's
challenge
weird, and it's a machine, and
navigating it.
I don't run like a machine, man. I don't like to run like a machine because I think one of the things that we're losing in this society right now is that person to person interaction
Mm-hmm.
that is lost. People just want it now, fast, get out of my way. But there's still some folks, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the Midwest in me,
Mm-hmm.
that you have that interaction. You want to come back to know the people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
That's
that's
what makes me
that's
sad about all the delivery services and stuff, because eventually you're not going to get to know the people that have the restaurants, and the restaurants might not even exist. They could be a ghost restaurant. Or
yeah, exactly. Actually, I know a guy. That's what he's doing right now. So it's
wild.
and yeah. I mean, he's building a restaurant with 6 different restaurants in it, and basically nobody comes in to eat.
And that, like, right there, that kind of like hurts my soul a little bit. It does. It really does. It's so, but it's
Seriously,
also, it's very 2020.
very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So that we can I just touch on the piano sales? What was that like? Just for a
I
second.
tried to slick past
What
that,
was
didn't
that?
I?
I know. Yeah, you can't get that by me. That's such an interesting. What was that? How do you sell to schools or to organizations, or how, like, is it just for like 2 seconds?
So I got hired with this company, and it was he asked me to just do his outside sales. And so his outside sales was a company called Tune Shop. Dan Miller was his name. Um, and he owned a couple of stores in Dallas, North Dallas, here in Kansas City, and in Nebraska. So I was the outside sales rep, and I traveled up and down. All it was, I mean, I sold Steinways and Yamahas. I can't play the piano. But I learned you don't need to know how to play, because I'm not going to be in the person's house playing the piano. They are.
Yeah.
So I just have to make sure that they feel comfortable with the right purchase. And that helped me hone in on my skills when it comes down to just getting to know people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know who they are before you can give them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a blast. I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. That's right around the time the economy started tanking, and a grand piano is not on the top of the list when there's not a lot of money around. So, and some other things happened with the company, and we just the company dissolved anyway. But it was fun, and everybody looks and they're like, "Dude, you sold pianos? You can play?" I'm like, nah. I just know how to connect with folks.
Yeah. No, I used to sell furniture to hotels, high-end furniture, and that was like right when the economy was, like, at the end, when the economy tanked. That's when people didn't want to buy the high-end things for suites or redo hotels, because they'd want to squeeze it out for another 2 years, the furniture wise. But a piano company did approach me my dad and I, at one point, to sell pianos, and we thought, oh, that'd be interesting to sell pianos to suites, maybe in Las Vegas or something, but we didn't see it. We couldn't go door to door. It wasn't like specific. It was more for hospitality.
Yeah.
But it's that's why when you brought that up, I thought, oh, and I think Steinway was one of the it was, I forget.
It was Yamaha and Steinways.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, those are the main things, and I did a lot of used pianos, but I sold the main ones was Yamahas was down in Dallas. Steinways were up in Nebraska, and here in Kansas City we had both.
I feel like if I was on the edge of getting a piano, I feel like you could sell me on it. I feel like you could convince me. We'd be talking for like 20, 30 minutes. I think, oh yeah, I probably should.
I mean, why not? It would look good in my living room.
Yeah, it'd be great to put stuff on, like put knickknacks on it.
Right?
So did the food truck come after that, right after that?
Yeah, it did. So my wife and I, we sat down and was like, all right, so what are we going to do? Like, are we just you going to go out and get another job and maybe that not work out? And I had been doing catering. And so it was like, why don't I just get into this cooking thing? I didn't have the bread to start up a restaurant at the time, and so I said, what about a food truck? And, scraped up a little bit of money, and Oddly enough, so when I was at Northwest, one of our exit projects was you had to come up with a nutrition company or you had to create a restaurant. And so I built a business plan, and the company was named Jazzy Bees, but it was a steakhouse seafood type of place that I created and did the menu for, a little bit of Cajun in there. Okay. So with live music, so on and so forth. Again, this is 99. Fast forward to 2010, and I ended up using the name. The concept is just a little bit different, obviously, because it was a food truck and it wasn't a sit-down restaurant. Yeah. That restaurant was, priced out. It was like at 1.2 million or something like that. There was no way I was going to do that coming out of college.
Jazzy Bees, was that because of like a fondness for New Orleans or jazz, or like obviously jazz, but or did people call it? Was that a nickname?
It was kind of a nickname, a blend of nicknames. So Jazzy was kind of a little nickname at the time that was just evolving, but Big B I've always been Big B. So there's the Brandon. Yeah. And then the apostrophe-esque because it's Brandon Simpson, but that's and then later on it became, as I became creative, I tell folks, Jazzy is the guy that's in the kitchen creating the stuff that's kind of like the Superman, and Brandon Simpson's the Clark Kent. You know what I mean? And so it's my dual personality type of deal that I have.
Who are we talking to, Brandon?
Right now you're talking to Brandon.
Okay.
Yeah. When we get to talking about food, you'll be talking to Jazzy.
Okay, so cool. All right.
It's one of those that I've evolved into, and it's been fun. It's been fun.
No, it's a great name too, and I think it sticks with people because there's a lot of names that you won't remember, but that one you will remember for sure.
Yeah, it is, and then it's funny because starting out, everybody used to say, "Well, what kind of food do you do?" What is Jazzy Bees? It doesn't tell, and then people would say, "Oh, you're in New Orleans, it's spicy food." I'm like, nah, it's not. That's not really what I do. I love spicy food, but I realize in the Midwest you can't do a lot of that. It doesn't go over as well. It's so you have little pockets of it, but just like you got little pockets of vegetarians and pescatarians and everything else.
What was the menu for the food truck when you first started?
Man, the menu changed like 6 times in that first year. I started out with like gourmet or like hot dogs and burgers and that type of deal. Pulled pork. I had just done a couple of competitions, barbecue competitions as well. So big claim to fame. Woo! I think did the American the American roll, and like my brisket ended up getting like in the 50s or something like that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's obviously not winning, but it's like there's a lot of competitors.
It's a lot of competitors. Yeah. And so I was like, oh man, if I did that on just like a little bit of nothing, let's think what I can do. And then you got everybody in your ear, pumping that air in, making your head kind of big. So next thing you know, comes a truck and it just started evolving. Every time I'd go out, it'd be a different dish. And you watch reactions of people and you watch what they come back for. And that within itself helped me build. And I like playing with food. That's part of what I do. I take food and I try to take it to the edge and see how far I can take people with their imagination and their taste buds.
I'll put a link in the show notes to everything, especially your menu, because even I looked at your menu again last night, and it's so original and interesting, and there seems like there's something for everyone, and I want to get into that in a second. But for the food truck, were you traveling around to different spots or one location, or how did that work, and how was that tough being in a food truck for you?
Well, yes, it was, because Kansas City wasn't ready for food trucks yet. So starting out, yes, I parked in a couple of parking lots, Home Depot parking lot out here, and a couple of other little locations, and then I started getting into events. Hooked up with a group of other food trucks that had kind of just started and some that were looking to start. And so we created a nice little group, and we all went to these different events, and we created a buzz. when that started happening and I started seeing some of their creativity, and then I pushed my boundaries
Well, that's
as well.
true. You would, yeah.
Things like the Brisket Tacos came out and they were a hit. Okay. And so the evolution goes, everybody loved them. They're like, dude, Brisket Tacos, and you got coleslaw on it. And I don't like coleslaw, but it tastes great together. And so I go to an event and, you know, I smoke as much meat as I think I'm going to sell and I'm going to do. And next thing you know, I sell out. Well, I'm done. I still got another 6 hours to go and people are selling. And I'm like, next time, you know what's going to happen? Then came the crab cakes. Then came the shrimp po' boy. So different things. I can go to the store now, get that, mix that up in the truck real quick, and keep serving when I run out.
Then be able to extend. That's a smart idea.
So when you do that, that helped build my menu.
Mm-hmm.
So now I see that, and then you take that and you go, well, what else can I do to grab these people's attention? And in doing that, Brisket Tacos. Then the armadillo eggs came. I used to do barbecue sushi, but it would I call it that. It was just wrapped in seaweed rice, and I'd put brisket or pulled pork in it, and then I'd make a sauce. Everything ended up with some weird sauce, you know, like my crab cakes and have a wasabi aioli sauce on them. It's not spicy, but it's just bursting with flavors, you know what I mean? And that evolved, and the buzz started getting out that this Cajun, but it's barbecue, but it's not straight up barbecue. You're not just going to come to my truck and just get meat and bread. Like I was tired of going someplace, get meat, sauce, bread, pickles on the side.
Like the standard Kansas City style, essentially what everyone envisions.
So we started branching that out, and then you take it. I ran into an event, and 30% of the customer base was vegetarians. Well, I didn't know at the time, and so I learned very quickly. There's a lot of vegetarians out there. Let's give them some smoked barbecue. That helped boost me just a little bit more, you know. So I didn't set out for one particular thing. Again, the sales kind of helped me find what people wanted.
So you let the sales dictate the menu and pivot instead of just saying, I'm going to have 4 items, take it or leave it. You were able to pivot and work with. Yeah, that's smart. That's a lot of people get too stuck in their ways, I feel.
They do. And then it also helped with the food truck is that I was in different Kansas City. So there's different pockets of Kansas City. And so when you do that, people in one area may really enjoy the brisket tacos. The next area may not. And so that within itself kind of helped build that too. Wow. You know what I mean?
A lot to think about. And a lot to think about. And how was it? Was it just you and 1 or 2 other people in the truck?
A lot of times. I mean, I'm a big dude, so yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You said that earlier.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I've been in food trucks, and I know that you're shoulder to shoulder. It's not a lot of space, and you can also there's not a lot of refrigeration space. Everything is smaller.
It's crazy sometimes, but we made it work and built that following. We, again, Kansas City's food truck scene still isn't there, but it was growing and growing at a rapid pace. We had folks like Jill Silva trying to help us out.
Great person. Like super champion for food.
Yeah, but she was at the Star and she gave us an outlet for down at the Crossroads. We were making strides with the West Bottoms, First Fridays, that type of deal. And then Westport at the time, one of the clubs was closing, so we were doing a lot of events down there. Well, when you do that, you jump on the scene and you just take that. And I think what people fail to realize in food truck business versus restaurant is it's a different grind. And because of you have to be on the cutting edge and find the people that want you. And when you're there, you gotta stand out. Like a lot of people would be like, oh, I don't want to put you in with a bunch of other barbecue trucks at this event. Technically you can, because I'm not just barbecue. I'm not what they're doing. And the more competition, the better off. So people come in and they know, well, yeah, his stuff's way better. Not because it's just meat and bread, but he's doing something else creative with his food.
And also, it might draw the barbecue fan, and then they get some bunch of different options, and then they'll find yours, and this is unique. I want to try this because I can get the same things at those two places.
Right. So that also helped me out.
So was the food truck scene blowing up kind of like it was in Los Angeles, like in all the other pockets of the United States, or was it a little bit behind in Kansas City?
It was behind. It still is behind. Still is behind. We still don't have a food truck park. I'm still working on that actively, trying to get someplace that trucks can be at on a continuous basis and people know where they're at. Now, there's over 300 some odd trucks in Kansas City, and at any given time, nobody knows where they're at. You know, and it's so hard because we're a bi-state city with Kansas and Missouri sitting right here. And then all the regulations and the differences between the regulations, it makes it very...
Well, that's interesting too about crossing state lines. It's not just county lines, it's state to state. Yeah, that's like...
It's rough sometimes, man.
So how did you make the transition to where you are today? And then are you hinting, not hinting, but are you saying that you would like to have a food truck? Do you have you have a full restaurant, but then do you want to have a food truck somewhere else too? Is that kind of a...
No, I still have my food truck. I still run the food truck.
So okay, explain what you're doing, because obviously it's not straight in my head, and maybe I'm not the only one.
Okay, so basically about 5 years into having the food truck, about 2015, I started working on opening up a restaurant because my food truck was booked privately so much. I wasn't doing any public events.
Gotcha.
And my fan base was like, yo, I need to get my Jazzy fries. I need to get my crab cakes. Where are you going to be at? I'm like, sorry, it's private. Can't do it. So I started looking actively for a restaurant.
Okay.
And I had just been on Food Network's Big Bad Barbecue Brawl, Barbecue Blitz at the time. And so that was coming out, and I was like, all right, let's ride this wave. Let's open up the restaurant. Well, in 16, we opened up out here in Lee Summit. I couldn't, the truck's paid for, man. I built it. Yeah. That's it. So I still have the food truck. The food truck gets booked privately still.
Okay.
And then we opened up the restaurant in 16 out here, and we've just been rolling both of them.
Okay. So what's Lee Summit like?
Lee Summit is booming as far as population, as far as food, as far as all that good stuff. It's Lee Summit. The reason I chose Lee Summit for the restaurant is they support small businesses more than some of the others. You have different cities that they want corporate restaurants in,
okay, and
you can get swallowed up in that as a new guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. They're set up to accommodate smaller businesses more than chains, and
the customer base, the people out here, they like to support small businesses. That's key when you talk about who is coming to support you, and is going to be there constantly. You know what I mean? Because for a small business, you're built on, or your livelihood is on that regular customer base. Sure. That they're going to come 2-3 times a month, and that's what helps keeps you afloat during the winter times. It's 14 degrees today, yo. It's snowing. Other times it's ice all over the place. So that customer base is what supports you. Now, that's one reason why I chose Lee Summit. The other, I live out here. My kids go to school out here. But that wasn't a deciding factor. Forget those kids.
Just business only. Those kids can go to any school. Keep moving them every 2 weeks.
Yeah. No. But it was that. So,
did you find an existing restaurant that you converted, or was it just a building? Or
so it was. This is all right. How do I say this? So I chose the most remote area in Lee Summit to go because I wanted to be a destination spot.
Okay.
All right. And this section is going to go to those that if they're listening, they want to open up a business and they want to build quickly. All right. I don't suggest that being the end all, the be all, but where my location, there's nothing else around me. I am on the outskirts of Lee Summit, going into another city, not another business within 3 miles.
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
But I'm close to the highway still. I'm relatively close to the highway. But what that does is people are like, where are you at? I know the area. They have to go into Google's. They have to look you up on the internet. That helps build your SEOs up quicker than anything. I don't care if it's only 500 people in a month's time, but that you see, but 300 of them have to look you up, whether they just look it up on MapQuest. It doesn't matter.
That's interesting. That's very clever.
So it's that part. And then once you become that destination spot, people are like, all right, I'm making this trip out here. I have people that drive 20, 30 miles just to come here. Mm-hmm. That helps. And then they tell somebody that's over there, wow, I kind of know where it's at. So that helps build you up. Mm-hmm. And when you're by yourself, it hurts you sometimes in sales because there's nothing else around you and you're relying on that. I got to drive out here for lunch and it's going to take me a while. But again, you want to be at the top of the search engine. Mm-hmm. And as long as you do okay service, at least okay enough that you get enough good reviews, then guess what? You're at the top without spending any marketing money.
Wow, and you're doing more than okay food. So. I've heard only amazing things. Did you build the restaurant out? Was this like a Mexican restaurant or was it some kind of?
No, it was another barbecue restaurant.
Oh, okay.
But I had to build. I gutted the whole place. Mm-hmm. I gutted the place because they had a residential oven and like stovetop, and it wasn't the same. Mm-hmm. So I'm full service, we offer gluten-free options. The fries that we do, I do flat top work, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they weren't doing all that. And so I had to get a bigger hood. I had to redo the floors. They had carpet, and I'm an anti-carpet guy in a restaurant.
Yeah, it's a little dicey. It's like having carpet in a bathroom. It's kind of,
yeah, right. It's comfortable. It's nice and warm and fuzzy, but yeah. we gutted it, and I wanted a particular look. Mm-hmm. I didn't want right now. Most restaurants that come out, they're going with the metal and the dark wood, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I needed this to bring life. Mm-hmm. into it. When people walk in, most of the guys that work with me, they've been with me for a while since the food truck. And so there is a common denominator of customer service that we shoot for. And you walk through the door, it's not a gate, hi, may I help you? It's, it's cheers.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. It makes you feel home.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So one of the quotes is that we have out there is come break bread with our family, because again, reverting back to the family reunions and no matter, I could bring 6 guys from the football team or the basketball team to a family function, and my family grabs them and their family at that point mm-hmm. in time. So anytime, that's my memory. And so every time someone comes in, we just broke bread. We're family now.
I love restaurants like that. I honestly do. And it makes you want to, and also makes you want to try more things, because they're like, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried this or this? Or next time you got to try this when you come back. Oh, you want a sample of this, try this. It's, yeah. Now, how was the reaction for the restaurant when it first opened? Were you nervous?
Dude, yeah. There was an anticipation factor. We had just done another show. That was Big Bad Barbecue Brawl. So a lot of things were happening. And so there was a huge buzz around for what I was going to do next. Mm-hmm. Again, I had already kind of gotten the name for being that guy that's going to do some weird stuff with his food and what's he going to come out with. And it was tremendous. Those first... we opened in September, and running to the end of the year was just phenomenal. I couldn't, it was one of those things that was more surreal because you say that you're going to do something 15 years prior, whatever the case may be, and then I'm about to do it. It's about to happen. And will people want to come back? You know, that's that one big fear, and bro, it worked out.
Yeah, no, I know, and it's
We're
that's
still here.
so. Let's talk about your menu.
All right. So the menu that we have here at the restaurant is it's still the fusion. I do just straight up ribs. The ribs I don't sauce them. So what I have done in the barbecue idea of it is take a little bit from each region. So you have your Carolina and your East Coast type of vinegary stuff. So you could get some stuff on the menu that is similar to that. So like my coleslaw is a vinegar base. I got a pulled pork with jicama slaw.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
That's mixing the east with some of the south of the border, because a lot of people don't know what jicama is, but you see it constantly in the store. You pass right by it. You know what I mean? It's there. And so there's that. You got the brisket tacos, obviously, just taking the brisket and meshing with that. I have a Reuben Roll. The Reuben Roll is we take the rye bread. I make my own Thousand Island dressing. The other thing, everything, all the sauces are made in-house. Like, they're made from scratch. So, and then cheese, sauerkraut, and instead of corned beef, we take brisket. We roll that up and panko, and we fry it. So it's just that little bit of the German, because I used to do one of the big things here, St. Patrick's Day was like huge for me as a food truck. And, you know, I guess, yeah, my wife's somewhat Irish and all that good stuff. So like, I do a lot of different things just because of what is around. So,
But also you're doing things that taste good, that people
yes,
want to eat.
they want to
That's
come back.
something I would order often.
Trust, and a lot of people do. They're like, dude, I just never thought about doing that. You're frying it. And I'm like, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy.
How are you cooking the brisket? Is it a Kansas City style?
Yes, it is. So I have a dry rub. It's my rub. It's a brown sugar based rub, and so it's that. And then there's no sauce ever. I don't wrap any of my meats. I don't like doing that. I'm a stick burner. So there's no Old Hickory. If we run out, if our electricity goes out, smoke's still gonna be rolling out of this joint. So I'll sit up all night with that. The pork, same way. We wait to sauce everything. I have a good sauce. So I have a very sweet sauce for my regular. Then I have a blueberry curry that's my spicy.
Oh wow, interesting.
And so it's very flavorful. It's got a lot of different flavors popping in, and depending on what meat that you put it on, depends on what pops more.
Are those sauces on the table, or are they sauces that you just ask for?
You got to ask for it. Yeah. I got too many kids that roll through here, man. I'm not one of those guys that like to pick up sauce and clean up. Nah.
Yeah, it's dicey situation.
You know what I'm saying? Smoked fried chicken wings. My chicken wings are excellent. They really started out, I used to do half chickens. And it used to be, you know, when you smoke chicken, the skin gets rubbery. If it gets hard, then you've almost dried it out. It's kind of tough. But I like crackling. Like me and crackling growing up, we go to the corner store and get some pork rinds or some crackling. You know what I mean?
So good.
And so I made that mesh, and my smoked fried chicken wings are awesome.
Wow. Can you get meat by the pound?
You can.
Okay.
You can. Yeah.
So I think I saw that in the menu here.
It took me a year here before I started doing burn-ins, and that was just so I wanted to get everybody used to what I do, because Kansas City is a burn-in. I mean, that's what we are.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want people to just come in and start buying nothing but burn-ins. I wanted them to try everything else that I have. These are what I have. This is who I am. Now you can come get burn-ins. So a year later, I started doing burn-ins, and I got some of the best dead burn-ins, man. Dang, I just patted myself. Yeah.
Well, Jazzy's talking, so he's
You
a
know what I'm
little bit
saying?
more proud of what he'll talk about himself a little more.
Just a tad bit. So my burn ends are excellent. We do them right, straight points, but I take it off the brisket. I don't smoke points. It's not enough fat on them to render down. That's just my personal opinion, or maybe I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. But
No, but you're doing what you're doing. That's the kind of way. What sides do you have?
my sides are way out there. Well, not all. My pit beans, I have pit beans, but I use regular baked beans, and I use black beans because they have a little bit more bite to them, and they stand up better. Full of meat, and they're good. I have jicama slaw. I have blue cheese potato salad, which most people are like, how'd you come up with that? And honestly, I was sitting down. I was eating a baked potato, and I had everything, all the fixings on there, and I love blue cheese. So I threw me some little blue cheese on there, melted it down, and I'm like, why not make a tater salad?
It's a good combination, and people probably could try it and not even know what's in it.
Yeah, I don't like blue cheese, but they end up tasting it like it doesn't smack you in the face with a bunch of blue cheese. You know what I'm saying? But it just has that little taste of funkiness behind it. And it's beautiful.
Ah, that sounds so good.
Then we got cheesy corn. It's a garlic cheesy corn. So it's not just corn and cheese. So, okay, I'll give you this. Here goes a small little story. I'm full of them, even though I don't like to talk a lot. All right? Because it's all life experiences.
Yeah.
But so when I was first making my cheesy corn, even with the truck and when I first opened up here, right, I was using the canned corn. And I always knew something was somewhat off, right? It wasn't as crisp as I wanted it to be, but the flavors were there. Don't get me wrong. I had a customer, and he was like, you need to get away from the corn. You need to get away from that canned corn and just go fresh or some frozen or something, because you can tell that it's corn. I'm like, all right. That's when you listen to your customers and you're growing. You're still trying to grow and evolve. And so I went to a particular frozen corn, and I tell you what, man, shot from a level 8 to like a 12 or 15. And I'm like, all right. But I tell that story just because you have to you can't listen to everybody's opinion.
Yeah. I was going to say, you can't listen to everyone, but there are people that are giving you good ideas.
Good ideas and good suggestions. And so that was one of them.
Did he try it again? Have you had him back in?
Yeah. He said and he's like, dude, that's what I'm talking about. So it's crazy how that happens. And throughout this whole journey, there's been other instances of that. So it's one of those. I enjoy that part.
Well, I forgot to ask Jazzy about the seafood portion of the menu, because there is sort of that Cajun, and like you mentioned crab cakes. Crab cakes are still on the menu, right?
Yes, crab cakes and crab balls. They're still on the menu.
Okay.
They are still banging and hitting hard. I have a shrimp po' boy, which I had with the truck. So what I do, like I love po' boys from Louisiana and whatnot. Those are awesome, but they're just shrimp that's in a bread batter that's seasoned up, and then you just the remoulade and all that good stuff. Well, so I take that to a different level. I love just shrimp at its raw. I'm not in its rawest form, but just the shrimp, the meat itself. So we marinate that with a little bit of mint, and I always choose a different beer. So I like to team up with local breweries or whatever and use their beer. And so it's grilled marinated shrimp on this hoagie bun with my coleslaw. And what it used to call remoulade is now called Jazzy sauce, man. It's like liquid gold. Like you dip my fries in it, which have a brown sugar cinnamon. I forgot about that.
The Jazzy fries, that you mentioned that yet?
Yeah. And so it's a burst of a lot of different flavors. It's fresh. It's a little bit of Cajun-y, but I think if someone from Kansas City has never been to New Orleans or never had a po' boy from down there, I have ruined them at this point in time because they're going to go down there and they're going to think that's what that is.
But it's your style.
Yeah, yeah. So it's one of those type of deals, man. And so that's how I've evolved in that type of deal.
So if you're in Kansas City for business for 5 days, you could visit your restaurant 3 times and get, because
Something different.
you're open Tuesday through Sunday, right? Close on
Yeah,
Mondays. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can, and you don't have to repeat, but a lot of times people find something and they're like, I got to have that again. I've been craving that. I'm like, and every once in a while I'll be like, nah, today you're getting something
Yeah, you
different.
should journey through the menu.
Yeah. So, and then on top of that, I have a secret menu.
Oh no.
So you create that. Again, marketing is key because you have regular customers that follow you. You have regular customers that want to give you or want to see how creative you can be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there are certain things on the menu that you have to know, or you have to watch a particular post, or you have to know somebody that has told you that they've had it.
Or listen to this podcast or watch
There
this.
you go. Come in and ask what's on the secret menu.
We should have a secret word. We should have a secret word to see if people actually listen to this.
You're right. I'll think of it before we get over.
Okay.
Before it's over. But so I do smoked burgers, and then we started doing a burger of the month, and every month there's something different. And so, again, to me, to evolve in the food world, you always have to try certain things out. Like the world is your guinea pig.
Yeah.
Like everybody that walks through the door is my guinea pig, and I will test something on everybody. So, but these burgers, we have what we call the Cajun Burger, which is the 8-ounce smoked patty, crab, shrimp, Munster cheese. I've done a po' boy burger with fish and coleslaw and a spicy remoulade. I've done a chicken and waffle burger. So when I tell you, and I made the like a peach syrup or strawberry syrup, and dude, we talk about some good stuff. It's some good eating.
Yeah.
But the fan favorites are the Cajun Burger. I've done a caramel apple burger.
Can people order these any day or just when? Let's just say I want the secret burger and that's a specific burger.
Some of them you could get all year round. Some of them is just for each month.
Okay.
So and that comes when you got to kind of keep up with what we have going on.
Gotcha.
Like this month is just a breakfast burger, and it's because I love a burger with a fried egg on it.
So good.
You know what I mean? But this time I put it all between a donut and freaking fire, man.
It's ridiculous.
So, and I know people have that out there, but to me, it's again just all about how you present it, and the smokiness with the sweetness of the glaze is just.
And you're having fun with it too, which is something that like it's not your food. When people come, it seems like they can enjoy themselves and try funky things and also get standard things too.
You get your everyday regular old burn-ins and good burn-ins or your ribs. Yeah, bro, it's good. So, and there's a few other things, but you know, I'll leave that to those when they come in to ask for it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see. Let's also say like maybe the word could be Steinway or something like piano. So if they've listened to it all the way through, if they ask for Steinway, this something special.
Let's do that. Yeah, if they do that, they come in, they say Steinway. I got something for them.
What about desserts? And then hours. I want people to know your hours too.
Okay. So I haven't rolled out any desserts. Every once in a while, I'll do some, like around Thanksgiving time. I've done a smoked pumpkin pie. I've done praline pecan cheesecakes. So a lot of people ask me, and they're like, dude, when you gonna... Here goes the thing. I'm a big boy. I love my sweets. And I know myself, I'm not going to cook a whole bunch right now, and because I'll be eating them. So here in a little bit, I will start bringing out my cheesecake. So back in school, I used to I built a company called Cheese of Desires. So I used to make cheesecakes for staff and for everybody, just specialty cheesecakes and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring that back out. Those cheesecakes and some bread pudding type of deals, but those might not roll out to year 5. I'm not gonna lie, just because there's a couple other things in the works that I'm trying to maneuver and do with Jazzy Bees as far as growing it a little bit more, and so it's going to be a process.
Yeah, you have to focus on the right thing.
Yeah, timing is everything.
Yeah, right? Timing isn't. Just like this. This feels right. What are your hours? So 6 days a week, not open Mondays.
So I am open 6 days a week. We are open Tuesday through Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 11 to 8. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 11 to 9. I do sell beer, canned alcohol. We have live music during the summer. So I do get some jazz artists in here to play on the weekends. Nice. Then outside of that, it's just come in, have fun, eat. You know, I have the Bearcat balcony, which is what you see up here. That's where we're at right now.
Do you sell out of meat?
Do I sell out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So people like if they come at like 6 or 7, there might be a couple items sold out, but there'll always be something for people.
There'll always be something. And again, that goes back to the food truck days. You always have to have something. And there's a shrimp po' boy, there's a crab cakes, there's a few other things that I'll always just kind of have that I won't sell out. The smoked meats, man, if you want good quality, I got to sell out.
You got to come early. No, I figured as much. But it's more of a heads up to people. They need to come earlier, not later.
Yeah.
And expect a full menu. Yeah.
Now, I have spoiled some people, too, because, they're like, I've tried real hard to make sure I got food to everybody, but I'm like, yo, you guys are just going to have to get here earlier or plan ahead.
Yes, exactly. And like a person listening to this generally knows that, I think, and people should know that it's fresh every day. It's going to sell out.
Yeah, no doubt.
If there's any final things you want to let people know that we forgot,
I've been trying to think. No, not really, man. Just know, support. My biggest thing is support local, support small business. There are some that are growing to be big, but again, the biggest thing is you are helping support a community and you are helping build families. And so for me, it's more than just a job. It's more than just what I do. It's kind of what I am. And
it's what you are, and it's what you like, breaking bread with people. You love that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I enjoy watching people walk through that door. I enjoy them eating the food. So I would always say, anybody listening to this, just come break bread, support your local, enjoy. Yeah. That's it. Barbecue is it. Food is life.
Food is life. Thank you, Brandon, for taking the time, and I'm glad we I am so glad I got to speak with you. Just even if like 6 people listen to this, which they won't, right? It'll be a lot more. But I can't wait to visit you. And good luck with this 14-degree day. And
no doubt.